Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Tuesday, November the 30th. Just have a quick look at the NASDAQ here. So it is possible that, as you know, we've been looking for wave 1 top and then an A wave, a B wave and a C wave here for wave 2. So it's possible that it's finished at this particular point. We are looking at another account too. We'll have a quick look at that. So we don't have 5 waves up here yet. We have 5 waves here. So after a correction, that gives us another 5 waves. And this particular move here is just about finished. There's still another little high to come into here. But then that would give us 3 waves to the upside. So we could look at once that 5 waves here is finished, any move above that we could trade long. So that means that we can use the 16,500, which is the medium level, as a part of the trade setup, and we'll look for a classic trading levels pattern at this particular point in time, so we can come across there. But we need to wait for that first high above the level. You know the routine, so it will look a little bit like this here. So the arrival, the reaction, the first high, this is what we're looking for, the first high above the level. We can put a trigger above that. We can look for the second high. We can also look over here for that as well. So that's really what we're looking for at the 16,500. Now that may come or it may not. As a wave 1 and an A and a B and a C for wave 2, that's fine, but it hasn't really pulled back to its 61.8% retracement level, so that wave 2 I mean. So let's just have a quick look at that. So the wave 2 pullback area is here. We have discussed though a lot of these moves to the upside here haven't really pulled back to where they should be pulling back to, so it's kind of okay here in a way. Is it done here? That's the question. The other point here too is that if that B wave top here gets taken out, let's just go back to that 1 hour chart here for a moment. If this top here is breached, then it forces this. If this is breached here, then it forces this to be an A wave, a B wave and a C wave at this point. So that's good for this wave 2. So that's something positive at that particular point. But as I mentioned yesterday, we're also looking at a second count for this market where we don't have wave 1 at the top here. We have a different type of pattern here. So in this case, we'd be looking for a wave 3 top. So in this case, if that market takes out the top of that B wave there, as I mentioned, which it probably will, that means that we can still have a wave 4 here. Even though it's in 3 waves here, we'll just need to work through that. So this is something that look, we'll just have a bit of a look at it. We'll see how it travels. But at the end of the day, just coming back to the hourly chart here. So this 3 wave move here, once it's done, that looking at this as a wave 3 top rather than a wave 1. So it's okay to have an A, B, C here. So all of this would become the A wave, then a B wave, and then a C wave down here. So what I'm trying to say here, I guess, is be very careful in this area here. Let's just use the classic trading levels pattern as a setup. And let's just, this 5 wave structure here, once it finishes, the time it finishes next session, it should have pulled back somewhat. And it may have already created the first high as well. So we'll see how that, just see how that plays out with all of this. So yeah, that first high above the, above the level, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so that simplifies it all. Even though there's 2 different counts, it just simplifies it. And I'm just saying be careful in this space here, because if it's going to turn, this is where it's going to turn from. Okay, that said, let's look at our usual stocks, and starting with Amazon here. Now, I also want to be careful here as well. we've got wave 3 over here with an A and a B and a C, but this here never really counted up as a B wave here. It always counted nicely as a 5-wave structure. So yesterday I was also sort of looking at the problem at all of this, the A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C wave for the B wave over here, and then down for the C wave to make wave 4 here. Now this may or may not be the case as well, but it's something that we need to get on the other side of if we're going to be, if this count here that I've got of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1 and back for 2 here, so then we would need to be very careful about what we do within wave 2, that we don't get trapped in this situation, which won't be that difficult to do, but just something that we need to work through. So on that basis, we're going to go to the tick chart, 100 ticks, and work through this a little bit. So let's get our bearings here. So the good thing about Amazon here is that we have 5 waves down through to here, which we can call wave A here, wave B here. Now this also looks a little bit impulsive as well, so it's possible to put wave B over here as an A and a B and a C wave over here for the B, and then look down at this point. So it's also possible to look at this as the A wave, the B wave here, and the C wave at this point with wave 2 there. Now it's also falling short of its target as well, but it's reasonably close and it's on such a large number, so I could live with that a little bit. So yeah, I'm thinking that if we're going to go long here, then we also need to give it some space as well. So that means, let's just double check on this here. So we can use, this is not too far off. So this is the 50-60% retracement level there for that. We were looking for it to bounce back into that space yesterday. We'll see how that goes. So what we could say here, just to be, because we've got this wave 2 here, and then we'll also have this possible wave 4 sitting down here lower as well. So we just need to be careful about all of these. We haven't, what I'm talking about now is getting in, at the right, I mean, it's always good to get in on the low and all those sorts of things, but it's also important to be safe as well. So that 36.50 here is part of group 2. So the lower end of group 2 here, and 72 and 80, all of that is group 2. So we don't need that. So yeah, I mean, I think to go long, even if this was, can this be counted in any other way? Not really. The only 2 ways of the way that I've got it, or wave B over here for that. So that's also possible, but that's not going to do much. So the thing here really, I think, is that we also need a classic trading levels pattern here. So we've got some time, so we'll just chill on this a little bit, but I do want to make note of, any further upside, we need to start setting up for it, but at the same time we don't want to get trapped in something. So yeah, we'll just leave this for the time being. I don't even know if that's how that counts up there, so I was just guessing putting that in the top there, which when you assume things, we know what all that means. So I'll just, it's pretty close though at that point. It does look like, it's a damn spike. So here we could go an A and a B and a C wave to here, and then down for 1, back for 2, 3, 4, 5. But that spike there chucks a bit of a spanner in the works at that point. Can I see it on 10 ticks or something? Can I see what that situation is in there? Do some counting here, but didn't clean the mess up. That's okay kind of thing. It's not. But it does count down here as 1, 2, I suppose 1, 2, 3. We do get a bit of an extra leg here. What about this over here? That looks like 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this looks impulsive here. So that means that, I mean, if you wanted to go long, you could just buy the pullback here. So, well, no, you can't do that, because if this is an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, then it's going to work lower from that point. So, okay, we can count that up as 5 waves. So that's good. So let's just go back here for a second. So with this here, we've either got, let's just label this out, because otherwise I will forget and need to go back over it again. That wave C can go over there. That can go there. So really, that's 5 waves there, right? So that means that any move above that, and you could go long at that point. Because otherwise, we should just come down here. What about if we just lighten this up for half a position, because we're not that sure where the market is at this point? And then we can look to add the other half on here for that. Well, that looks okay. I mean, if that's 5 waves here, then the pullback here will probably be some sort of ABC pattern. But if we get 5 here, that means we'll get 5 over here. So if it's the B wave, we'll go straight down, and if it's going to take that top out there, well then it's going to be wave 1 at that point. So we'll just see how that plays out. I don't think I can get us any closer to the mark, and you could work out the little ABC pullback. It's probably just the A wave come down here so far. But even still, I suppose if this was, let's just go back to the 10 tick chart here. I won't spend too much time on it, but just the normal sort of thing. Where are we here? So this is probably, it's the same sort of pattern really. So it does look a bit impulsive here, so we may get some sort of A wave, B wave and C wave here for this, before coming down for either wave 3 or wave C and then going up. So once that comes down, then you can go long from here. So we're talking about going long from here, but you get a better price if that was the A, the B and the C wave here, and go long over that point. So I'll leave that at that, but I will clean this up because... Okay, let's move along a little bit. So with Google here, I'm also looking at this in 2 ways. One of them is this wave 4 here. A lot of the banks around the place, I mean, even in Australia where I am, we're in these wave 4s, and I'm starting to see that in the US banks as well, which we'll have a look at today. So there's a good case if the banks are going into a wave 4, then there's a good chance that a lot of the stocks that we're in can be doing the same as well. We know that some of them are, like Square and PayPal and Shopify and all of those guys that have been very bearish. Yeah, so this is a daily chart here. Looks like a tick chart, doesn't it? But yeah, so we're looking at it in 2 ways. One, that we're looking at wave 4 pulling back to this wave 4, and the other one we're looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We know that anyway, but we're looking at it as wave 1 and coming back for wave 2 and then moving higher. So we're looking at it in 2 ways. So this is this is the first one here. So we're looking for an ABC pattern here. So I'm not ready to trade this long or short, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but having wave 3 up there, the other one is having wave 1 up at that point. So I'm just going to go to the 10-tick chart for this. And this is looking at it with, okay, that's right, yeah, with wave 1 here. And then coming back here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here. But we need to be careful that we just don't fade from this point and move down here. So you'd need a classic trading levels pattern above the 61.8%. We gravitate to the closest largest number, and that's a 29.50 at this point. So we'll use that midpoint there for any setup on the long side. So we'll see how that goes. But this here can be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So we'll need to be very careful about that at that point. And yeah, I mean, Google and Microsoft I'm kind of using as templates for the general market. So yeah, we need to be sure to be sure. Having 3 waves up here is not bullish. You know, we need either the setup here or looking at 5 waves. So Apple. So also with Apple as well, I'm looking at it as we have been as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for wave 1, pulling back for wave 2. That could also be finished in here as well, like a lot of other markets. But we'll check on that in a moment. The other count here is this wave 3 that I've got over here. I'm putting over here and looking for a deeper correction, but we'll just keep an eye on that. We don't have to go there just yet with this market. And we'll just go to the intraday, into the tick chart here. So just remember that we do have an ABC little pattern here. So wave 2 can go in on here, but we haven't pulled back to this area. So this is a little bit small. The volume here in the flow of everything is good, because in a trend to the upside we need increasing volume, and during corrections we'll see volume diminishing. Well, that's what we want to see anyway in a correction. And yeah, so it's doing all the right things for a bullish scenario. Let's go into the tick chart here. Just want to see if I did anything on 10 ticks here. I don't think I did. No, it's okay. Rightio. So scrolling back in, let's get in a bit more. Okay, so there's our little wave 1 to the upside here. So as far as the crow flies, we've got a reasonable ABC to the downside here. So from this wave 1 up here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, and an A and a B and a C for the B wave. And then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So yesterday we counted down as a possible low being in place here for this wave 5. And that would make wave C here. We just need to be a bit careful though, and wave 2 here. So we've got this first little impulse wave to the upside, which is good. And then we've got this second little impulse wave here that's actually finished as well. Or is it? Let me just have a closer look. Looks like a wave 4 here, and that looks like the wave 5. So we could probably go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2. Can we get 3 in there? We could count that differently. We'd probably count that as 1 and 2, and that means this is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So I think that's 5 waves to that point. So you know, as a I'm just looking at the dark side here. So as an A wave, B wave and a C wave here, that can be finished. So I guess because we're quite close to the, you know, from the top to the bottom here, this is the 50-60% retracement level area here. It looks like we've got 5 waves here for this already. So yeah, there's a good chance that this is all done and dusted, but we need to be careful of looking at this top here. We've got it as wave 1, but it also could be wave 3. So as wave 1, it can be finished here. and if it takes out the B wave top here, then it would be finished at that point, because it forces this to be an A and a B and a C wave here, because at the moment this could all be down for 1 and back for 2 and down again. I don't think it's the case, but as a wave 4, wave 3 up here and coming back for a wave 4 over here, it's okay for this to be an A, B, C pattern here. We could just move this to, this to be the A, bring the A wave over here for this, and bring the B wave over here for this, and look for a C wave to the downside. But I think taking out that top there, I think we're pretty safe. It's a bit of a risk. The safe trade is on top of group 1 here, so 163. That would be the safe trade at that point. So you could probably go long above the top here, but I just think that make it half a position, because of that looming wave 4. I mean, the other question here is, should you short this? Well, I guess if I had to short it, I just always gravitate to the closest largest number, and then I'll look for that as the resistance. So you'll need to look for that as the resistance in some form like this. If that's the level here, you just need to make sure that it's locked under there as such. Yeah, but still as an A and a B and a C, because if this was going to go up further, then that would be wave 1, which will come back for wave 2 here, and then move up for wave 3, 4 and 5. So yeah, I mean, if that's wave 1 and 2 here, it's either an A and a B and a C and we're done and we're going down here, right? Or if this is going to be wave 1 here instead of wave A, then it would make this one, if I just grab this here, it would make this here wave 1 here, and then pulling back for wave 2 here. But it wouldn't finish there, because we've only got, if this was wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and we go up for 3 here, then we'll go up for 4 and 5. Do you know what I mean? So there's a whole sequence to play out here. So going along above that point there would be the right thing to do. So this is where it can either be bullish or turn bearish at this point. Okay, so that's as close as I can get to the market at this point for Apple. And for Square, not a lot has changed, and this will be pretty much the same for PayPal as well. I think PayPal needs to rally a little bit. We'll have a look at that when we look at the bank, because it's on another charting program. But look, I did have wave 4 here, and I have moved it to this point here, but we're just going to stay with it. We're not shorting it. We're not going long at the moment. We want this to finish off, and then we also we'll have a look at, when this does finish, we'll take a closer look at PayPal and whatnot, because we want them to give us that impulse wave to move up. Because it's interesting, really, the PayPal and all those guys and Square, they seem to be in one bucket, and then you got the banks in the other bucket, and they're kind of out of sync a little bit, because the banks have been moving up, but this market, just going to the daily chart here, has been in the opposite thing. So when we're talking about rotations of things, this, to me, these guys here, this would be the rotation point here for these. And PayPal's the same as well. But anyway, we'll move on. So Facebook. So there's two things with Facebook. From the low here, I can count 5 waves up here. So we can look at all of this as wave 1, pulling back for wave 2, and then going higher. So taking the top of the B wave out is the logical step to do at that particular point in time. This wave A here can also go over here, because we can count 5 waves down to this point. We can look at this as an A and a B and a C wave to here, and coming down here further. So yeah, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, there's different ways to look at that. But yeah, we can count that up as 5. So we need to look at this as a bullish pattern here today as well. Okay, so we're going to have a look at that. I think I've done that on the 10-tick chart. But besides that, let's go in and go to the intraday at 100 ticks. So yeah, in this case, from the top here, we're looking at 1 and 2. And I have adjusted this a bit, by the way, from yesterday, but I adjusted it in terms of looking at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave. Now the fourth wave pulls up quite high here, all right, higher than the 38.2%, and also rubs number one up here the wrong way as well. But I think I'm going to stay with it. It's the best count, because otherwise I need to look at it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. Still, this, if we looked at this as the B wave here, then 5 waves down for 1. This is where it can come back for wave 2 here, but this will be more. The reality would be more here, because that was the last high. So there may be another little move here for this, but this is where it can roll over at that point. Okay, so we're just going to be a little bit careful. So if we're going to go long, we need to be mindful of that. So on the 10-tick chart, we're going to look at this move up here as an impulse wave. Nothing like a good cleanup. There we go. Okay, so from this low here, this is how I could count it up as 5 waves, as 1 and 2 in here, then 1 and 2. And then the third wave, which is a nice big third wave, nice gap in the middle, everything's looking rosy. Wave 4, wave 5 for 3, wave 4 pulling back to wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, and then wave 5 up here. And then looking at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So instead of looking at it as wave 1 to the downside, we could look at it as wave C. So look, I think it's important to look at both sides, because sometimes, we get our head stuck up our what's the name, and we lose ourselves in things. So so at this point, I was thinking, just looking at this at the bullish side here. I mean, before need to be looking up this as a corrective wave, so we could look at it as an A and a B and a C for the A wave, and a B wave and a C wave and all the rest of it. So we're not ready to go long here just yet, but it could be counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, probably 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. But we'll see how this travels. This has probably got a bit more to go yet. That's corrective. That's 5, 3, 5 structure. So that's corrective. So we're going to be making new highs above here. It just depends on how you want to pull that apart. But I haven't got time to go into that. Get lost in that. But tomorrow and the next day, I just wanted to point out that we could look at it as being completed, essentially as a wave 2. And we got wave 1 over here somewhere. So we could move up. This is the 50-60% retracement level. So let's see what the market looks like when it gets a little bit closer to here. And if I can see a long trade set up, well, then we'll look at that and move in on the long side. But yeah, just need to be a little bit careful at the moment, because I mean the thing is, the S&P and the NASDAQ, they are correcting, aren't they? They're quite early into their corrections, but we need to just be mindful of, because it's things like this that can bring the indices down, once it hits this box and move down at that point. So yeah, just going back to the 100 here for a moment, just so we can have a look. So the other count here, of course, is the B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some sort of move back a little bit higher in here. We know that we're going to be pushing up here a little bit higher, so it's not over yet. So yeah, that 340 can be a bit of a line in the sand. We could use that, so we'll put that in there. That's where it is at the moment. Anyway, we'll leave all that. So that's where we are. So nothing, I can't give a trade here just yet for this, and probably not for quite a few of the markets really. Tesla, this is where we are with Tesla. So we're looking at green wave 2. I mean, it is possible. I mean, it's just shooting the breeze here. I mean, it does count nicely down as 5 waves here. I'll just check that again in a moment. But it's possible to look at this as the A, the B, and the C wave to this point here as well. If we have wave 4 finished here, we can look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then moving higher. So we need to keep a bit of an eye on this, okay? We don't want to get lost expecting it to come down here to buy it here, and then it nicks off here, and you're just sort of left scratching your head. and throwing stuff at me, of course. So yeah, we just need to be. I'll just double check on that move there. I can't remember what that was exactly. Just want to see how clear it is. Yeah, it could be counted as 5 waves up. I mean, it might be a degree higher or whatever, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and going up for 5, so it's possible. But this move down through here is on the bearish side though, isn't it? So I think we could be on the right track with 1 here and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the third wave, ABC for the fourth and down for the fifth. And then an A wave, a B wave and a C wave to the upside. So this box is where this 11,150 here is where we want the market to turn down. So if we were going to go long, once again we would need to see a nice first high above that level there, and then if that's breached, then we can go long. We can also look to build long over this side on top of this number as well. So once again, let's just give this a little bit of time, because there's a good case for this. That low is below that one, so that's cool. So yeah, I mean, 5 waves, ABC. I think we just need to leave it be for the time being. But anyway, you kind of know where we need to be looking at going long, building to the upside. We just got to give this a chance here, because we don't want to get buy here and get trapped. I mean, yeah, so that's sort of where we are. So from back over here, we counted down as 1 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and yada yada yada. This is not that high for a wave 4. The 38.2% retracement comes in about here somewhere, so that's absolutely justifiable. And also working with the closest largest number. So, but yeah, as I mentioned, we could look at it as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave to this point, but otherwise we need to just carry on the way we're going at the moment. So yeah, that's where we are there. And Microsoft. So with Microsoft, we're looking at this in 2 different ways. So we'll go and explore that. Wave 1 and wave 2 back in the box. But as I mentioned before, these retracements haven't really been deep enough to, it doesn't have a habitual habit of pulling back into its boxes. So, we have to kind of forget about the box to a point. So yeah, I mean, we can shove in it. We can put this here as the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave here for this. That fits. But we also need to look at this top here in a different way as well. So we're also looking at it. Well, let's just go to the tick chart first. So I need to explain myself here a little bit, because I did change the count a little bit. So no problems with wave 1 here, okay? No problems with wave 2. So then I've changed this, because I had this as wave 3, 4 and 5 here. I had this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But looking at this here, I think that we could look at all of that as wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So I'm thinking wave 3 here, because then it makes such a nice wave 4 here, travelling sideways here as an ABC pattern here. I mean, you could even put wave 3 over here for that, but you're still left with wave 4 here. So I was thinking that in this case, that we look at this all the way down for the A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C coming back here, and then coming down for wave C here. The thing here is that this move here is impulsive up to the A wave, and we're looking for a move to come into the box here. So it looks like this B wave here is already sort of done in a way, because this that would be the ABC pattern here for that. See, that's also short as well. This would be 1 ABC for 2 here, and then 3, 4, 5. So we can work with this a little bit. So let's just move this out of the way, so we can look at this as wave 1 here, wave 2 here. So wave 3 will be here roughly, wave 4, and then wave 5 here somewhere. So that will be the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave. So we can't go long until this is finished here. You know, this will be the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, then the ABC pattern here. And this is where it can fold down. There'll be a retest here, but anyway, you get the picture. But at the same time, we can also go long here. If you can't figure that out, well, then you'll just figure this top bit out, going long above this top here, if you can count the waves. And the thing about Elliott and, you know, all these things is that whatever system that you use, you have to be able to tell yourself the truth, you know, and the truth is that, do you know what it is, or don't you know what it is? Because if you don't know what it is, then you need to strengthen your position up with trading less capital, having a better trading setup, all of those sorts of things. But if something is clear to you, well, then you go for it, you know. But if it's not clear, then you can't go for it. But then you've got emotions on top of that as well, always confusing things, the relationships of money and people and other things. So there we go. So, you know, I may have this count here wrong, but it doesn't really matter, because we still have to get past 3 waves over here for this, you know. I mean, it could very well be that this is the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here, and this is wave 2 done and dusted at this point, you know. I understand that, and that's why we're looking at being long over here for that. We don't want to miss anything. So, yeah, the other point here is that just looking at this in a slightly different way as well, I don't know if it's the case or not, but anyway, we'll just play it out here for a moment or two. So we haven't really spent much time at the 300, so I'm just wondering if this is the first high above the level, and we'll pull back. So we'll just see. It doesn't matter that too much. It's something I'm working on. Rightio. So I do want to have a look at the banks, actually. Rightio. Got to get this set up. This one here is... this is Morgan's here. Doesn't really matter. They're all in the same boat. Sometimes we look at BCA or whatever, but they're all much the same. But what I wanted to say is that this move up here, I think we need to look at it as being finishes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the 5th of the 3rd. So that means that it doesn't matter if I'm looking at Morgan's or the Bank of America and whatnot, but basically this wave 4 here is in play. So we've got this possible, whatever that's going to be here. I haven't pulled that apart totally yet. It's possible that all of this could just be wave 1 to the upside, and wave 2, we're tracking that as well. So in a way, if you're going long here, then you could go long above this high. That would be the long trade at this point. But otherwise, expect them to drop back in. The Australian banks are doing the same as well. So I'm just assuming that banks all around the world will be doing all the same thing. So that's where we are, folks, with this. I thought that we could just continue to the upside, but Yeah, no, there's a bit of a pullback. Alrighty, I'll leave it all at that. Sorry for making it so long. The video, that is. Alrighty, cheers.